Okay. Now, can we quickly look at a few things about what is going on within the CPP, and then because the CPP discussion will feature throughout what we do today, as and when we have news of something happening at the Congress grounds, we would deal with them. But briefly, I'll start with Mr. Bonfe. Is it not rather very interesting that almost all the time when the CPP is going to elect its flag bearer, you have a good number of people who put themselves out to be elected? I remember there were times you had Brighter Kwete, you had Professor Ajman Bedwakosa, you had Dr. Pakwesi Indum. I mean, these are George Agude, yes.
Dr. Kwakusafo.
Correct. Quite a good number.
2007.
That's right. Yet the outcome, as in what you're able to do at the polls, doesn't sort of give any indication that you're still firm on the grounds.
Well, you have a point there, and I must say that you're making reference to Congress in 2007, where I was privileged to be elected as the first elected national youth organizer of the party in its history.
Yeah.
Previously, that position was an appointed one. But in 2012...
That event was at KNSC, correct?
KNSC.
Yes, I was there. I covered
That's
it.
right. You were there?
Yeah.
You were then with Love FM.
That's correct.
The subsequent one was at Esipong in Takrady, or as the second day, where there were only two aspirants, Dr. Abu Sakara and Brighter Kwete. You have a point there when you say that the 2007 Congress, raised or generated a lot of excitement around the country.
That's true.
But hitherto, the other Congresses, except the one, was it in 2003, at the similar at KUST between, 1996, between Koenkesen Aka and Kankam da Costa and a host of them. That also, because of the caliber of the people who engaged in that contest, it generated some excitement. So in 2007, yes, you had very interesting characters who had made it on their own merit in their own both academic and professional pursuits, contesting. And these were people who were not known very much to have been identified or to be identified with the CPP. So it was kind of, hey, has the CPP got this caliber of men? 2008, we went into the elections and the output was not the best. You would recall that it was because the candidate who led the party then did not enjoy the support of the other aspirants who contested with him. And I would say part of it was as a result of the acrimony and the bickering and the kind of negative campaigns that were waged. Come forward to 2012, that one was on low key. It was almost as if we were not getting the people to contest. So it was limited to two people. And even on the day of the election, there was a show, a great show of comradeship, where the winner actually chose to share a smoke that he was wearing, a similar one with his main contender. That was Brighter Kwete. Abu Sakara, extended an olive branch to him by giving him the same or a similar type of the Northern smoke.
So Brighter Kwete has been very consistent in this pursuit.
He has been consistent in seeking to lead the CPP as its flag bearer into general elections.
Right.
It's also clear then that the delegates have also consistently denied him the privilege and the opportunity to lead them into...
By some of the analysts, I understand that this may be his chance. This will be his third attempt, right?
Yeah.
that this may be his chance. What do you say?
What would be the basis? Superstition or providence?
No. There are some who say that the others who got the votes, who got the trust of the delegates, have betrayed the CPP. Dr. Indu, Abu Sakara. So if Bright is still with the CPP and is as passionate as he is, he deserves the chance.
All that while you were talking about, we had the General Secretary who contested on a neutral ticket and yet won, stayed with the party, and was the only candidate to be re-elected in the 2011 Congress at the Trade Fair site. You have the 2011 elected chairman and leader who hitherto had been a member of parliament on the ticket of the party, still with the party. You have Joseph Ejapong, also still with the party. So if it's about staying or keeping faith with the party, they have all kept faith with the party. And so he has no any additional advantage other than any of the other contestants.
Okay, so Mr. Bright Akwete, Mr. Joseph Ejapong, Samia Yaba in Nkrumah, and then Ivor Green Street.
Yeah.
Who do you think is likely to take it, and who would best represent the face of the CPP going into 2016?
I mean, only one person fits the two, questions that you have asked. Who best fits the face of the CPP in terms of the message that the CPP ought to take to the people of this country to make a departure from what it has done from 1992 to date and pick on something new, something that will resonate with the people, something that will care for them and make Ghana work for Ghanaians again. And also, who the delegates at the Congress...
Of course, in the end, it is one person who will be elected, but who is it? Who is this person
It looks more likely than the person who is more fit to unify the party in the person of Ivor Green Street. The greatest need of the party today is unification. And just to take it to the point that you raised earlier, the CPP's biggest challenge, and the CPP as in the organ CPP today and the larger Nkrumah family called CPP, what it lacks today is unity. And many have said it, that unite and let us take you serious. So you need a unifier to be able to ignite that spirit of unity.
Okay, hold on briefly. Now, Subject, what do you say? Ivor, I thought that, within the political space, many thought that it's a done deal for Samia Nkrumah.
Well, I don't think it's a done deal for Madam Samia Nkrumah. If there's one thing I know, I think Ghanaians have not come to that place where we believe in the dynasty politics. And so basically that is what that school of thought is pushing, that this is an Nkrumah dynasty. And so that appears to be the main pushing or selling point. I did listen to excerpts. I didn't have the opportunity to listen to the full debate of the CPP, but I did listen to excerpts. And I must say that Mr. Ivor Green Street, my very good friend, did show moments of brilliance. And for me, if I was to, I'm not a gambling man, but if I was to place a bet, I will place my bet on him being the best candidate in terms of policy, from what I heard. And so I do wish Mr. Ivor Green Street, Governor Green Street, all the best of luck. However, the bottom line for me in all of this is the fact that...
Isn't Bright Akwete more accomplished than he is?
Well, you see, accomplishment per se does not necessarily relate to an excellent leader. Okay? We've had people who have thousands of accomplishments or accolades or awards to show from a stellar professional career, but then that is where they are cut out to be in their profession. It doesn't mean that they would translate into becoming spectacular leaders. And so I don't want to necessarily run with the accolades kind of thing or wave. No, it's about who you think brings the best in terms of policy, in terms of leadership. And leadership is very big, you know, it's very big. And I can say that Mr. Kobna Green Street did, I mean, he's shown that he's got a big heart.
Okay.
He's one who can stomach the sense, I mean, my incident with him, I mean, 5 days after our public fallout, we met on another TV station, and he was very cordial. And immediately he made a point on national TV that he had nothing against me. I rendered an apology, and he told me he had nothing. I mean, that is the sign of leadership.
I can testify to that. You remember we were supposed to have a show with general secretaries, and Kwabena Japan and the PPP's representative were here, and they said because Johnson Esedun Ketia wasn't around, they would not feature on the show. And then they left. After that, we took a decision that we'll not host any one of them on our show again. Well, I spoke to him, and he was so kind, and he was so embracing, and talking to me about the need to see this as something which was unfortunate and let it go so that we can work together. And he said, look, please, when next can we reorganize a show? I want to come and deal with this issue. But unfortunately, we decided that we'll do the show, but without those people any longer.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that is a key mark, a mark of a leader. Okay, a leader is one who must be able to handle the varied opinions within his political dispensation. And then if you seek to lead this country, you're going to have dissent of all kinds. People will dissent with your views. People will question your decision making. But you must be a leader, as someone who must be able to stomach all of this and accommodate the dissenting opinions. Amongst those in the fray right now, I believe that if I was going to use that as my indicator, I would still place my bet on Mr. Kwabena over Green Street.
Interesting. Let me see if Egbert's biases are with mine for Mr. Akwete, because we meet in court almost every day, and he's a brilliant guy. Now, do you think that if he loses this time round, he will still keep faith with the CPP?
Oh yes, I think that Bright Akwete is a dogged fighter. I mean, he is a titan. I mean, at the bar, we all know the stuff he's made up of. Very fine brain, very, very consistent, and no nonsense. I mean, so to say. But looking at the whole thing, let me congratulate the CPP on the occasion of their Congress to elect a flag bearer for the 2016 election. I wish them well. I just pray that the outcome of this Congress will be the beginning of a reawakening for the CPP to take its rightful place in Ghana's political firmament. For a party that won independence, for this nation, the levels that it finds itself in, it's really nothing to be proud of.
You're expressing a wish and a desire that has been expressed at every Congress, or ahead of every Congress.
That is true, but when you hope against
but they've never been able to prove the magic.
When you hope against hope, then you must die. You understand? So once there's hope, I pray that they're able to look at it. Now, looking at the profile of the personality, and I must also say that their internal debates that they organize, novelty. I think that it shows that maybe that the CPP means business this time around. I pray that they're able to rise from all these things and then play their rightful role in Ghana's politics, especially the politics of the Fourth Republic. It's taking the CPP too long to make an imprint of monumental proportions in the politics of the Fourth Republic, which is not what should have been the case. Now, looking at the profiles of the people involved, let me say that, yes, I know Samia Ivor, very good friend from my undergraduate days at Legon. He's my senior at the bar, even in those days. And then Joseph Ejapon, I must say, I've never encountered before, save the debates.
Okay.
And then, of course, Bright Akwete. Looking at all of them, who do I think will win? Well, let me say that Samia has a lot going for her because of her genesis, the Nkrumah attraction. So if the CPP, if the Nkrumah magic still stays with the CPP, I would not be surprised if Samia gets the nod. And I'm sure that Kabila knows what I'm talking about. That, the CPP, everything is Nkrumah. And so once there's an Nkrumah in there, that's that. Ivor is my friend. I think he has fantastic ideas. He is a material that nobody worth his or her imaginations and senses, to put it bluntly, can ignore. Solid guy. Baita Kwete have eulogized already. I would not be surprised though if Baita Kwete
makes it this time.
Because he has a certain, innate quality, which you cannot. It is inexplicable. You need to experience him to know what I'm talking about. Well, it may go anyway. But the injunction,
right?
Injunction.
Onzi Nkrumah.
Yes.
Who's had battles with the Nkrumah family.
Yeah.
Denying him that he's not a son of their father, and suddenly he wants to be a flag bearer of the CPP.
I wish Sekou Nkrumah were in town, but you see, Samson, you also know, by reason of the fact that we are both lawyers, you know that there are two schools of thought as to what service of a notice of injunction is. Some judges take the position that the fact that you've served an injunction does not mean that the injunction will be granted. And so what ought to go on will go on. But of course, there's another school of judges who also say that, look, notice of an service of injunction on you is as good as an injunction having been granted. Because when you go on to award to yourself the very remedy that the court is supposed to determine, then you have stolen the blaze of glory surrounding the court, and if you served the court's power,
right?
And so you will be punished for it,
because the purpose of the application will be useless.
It's like stealing a match before the match starts. So I'm surprised, but well, I don't know who the legal advisors of the CPP. I know Mr. Baita Kwete, a titan himself, is in there. Ivor is also a lawyer. They are in there. I don't know, but these things come up. But I think that if the CPP had been served, then they ought to have waited.
This would be costly to a smaller party like this.
I agree.
That doesn't have,
yes,
the
but
funds.
you see, injunctions are discretionary. And so, no matter what has happened, a judge may take the position that, look, looking at the party, the fact that delegates had come from all over, and then I don't know when the injunction was served. Was it on the eve?
We understand it was filed, it was served yesterday or so.
Good.
The police say they are unaware, so they are going ahead to
clearly.
do
So a judge may look at the situation and say, no. Perhaps it was brought in bad faith.
Absolutely.
It was brought in bad faith because the logistics, the cost, and all those things. So yes, you want to, if you like, uphold the course of administration of justice by bringing an application for contempt. But they say he who comes to equity must do so with clean hands.
Right.
So if you had served it even a day or two earlier, the CPP could also have applied for abridgment of time to hear the injunction, even yesterday.
Correct.
And then so when you also are going to the Chamber of Justice, you should also look at, issues of ethics, issues of, motive and the rest. I mean, you do a last minute thing like that, you think that, the courts will also look at it and say, well, once it is so...
But somehow this happens a lot in the so-called smaller parties. They are getting ready for a very important occasion, which you can tell that they have sunk all their funds into. And a day before, you are told about this injunction there, this injunction there. Okay, you wanted to come in before.
Yeah,
I'll let you have the last
touch on the issue of novelty.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people have celebrated the CPP for doing this internal debate, but I must say that I want to take away that shine from them.
Why?
Because it's not the first time we're having an internal televised debate.
No, it's not.
It's not the first time. The
NDC party.
Yes, the NDC in 2006.
Televised.
Yes, it was carried by GTV. President Mills, or candidate Mills at the time, Mahama Idrisu, Spio Garba, Eddie Annan. And after that debate, in fact, President Rawlings made a remark that he wished he could split Ghana up into 4 and give to each of the 4 gentlemen because they were fantastic.
Interesting, because I am unaware.
In 2006. In 2006.
We are all unaware.
You can check it.
Okay, interesting. But what do you say? Onzi, is he being treated unfairly? Because that is what he said.
Well,
he says that his disqualification is deliberate and it's a breach of his fundamental human rights.
I think that this issue about Onzi, if I listen to Professor Dele and the grounds on which his application was, his forms were rejected, which led to his disqualification. And you look at all the drama that has gone on between him and one of the candidates, where he first claims to be a blood relation and then subsequently claims to have a love interest.
No, it was the latter first.
The latter first, a love interest, and then later claims to be a blood relation.
Let me read you just a little bit of what he says in his papers he's filed in court, that he was manhandled and was only lucky that some good Samaritans were around to whisk him away from the hands of the CPP, who had planned to block his attempt at filing his nomination forms. That he has made several attempts to file his nomination, but either the defendant, that is the CPP, had caused thugs to block him at the entrance to the party offices, or there had been no one at the party office to receive his nomination.
Am I aware that the CPP also has invisible forces or action troopers or Bamba boys? But and so this is because, I mean, the CPP is not a party.
Boys. What about
the
boys?
NPP is not, the CPP is not a party known for such things. And so these are very, very grave complaints to be making, allegations to be making. However, I think that Mr. Osei Nkrumah, and I have listened to him.
Is it Mr. or Doctor?
Dr. Osei Nkrumah. Let me give him. Well, Kabila says he claims so. I haven't said so, but Dr. Osei Nkrumah, I've listened to him a couple of times. I think that in this particular battle, where you have Samia Nkrumah, Ivor Kobinai going straight, and Mr. Bright Akwete, I think he should. Joseph Japon. I mean, he, by virtue, and I have realized that he's doing a lot of branding. I've seen a lot of American vehicles in town branded with him. He appears to be running a very flamboyant entry into this. But all the same, I think that if you look at the four of them, and I listened again to excerpts of the debate, I think that you realize that three people are in a certain class.
So Osei should just forget it, right?
I think he should just
Interesting. The way we write him off like that. But see, he says that he had come to do the process, and we're told that he presented a check instead of a banker's draft for his filing fee.
Or cash.
Okay, and that is where all of this trouble began. Now, attempts to do it again, he's being blocked. Why? Is the CPP feeling that he just is not qualified and you don't want to take him through the process to disqualify him, or what?
Samson, before I deal with the Osei subject, which I will do very well today, to settle some of these matters, my big brother Egbert talked about accomplishments in terms of, yes, I don't know the standards and the yardstick he's using to measure Bright Akwete as more accomplished than Ivor.
I haven't said that.
Okay.
I never said that.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. I mean,
good.
he just
I never said that.
So I just wanted to settle that. I'm
His
sure
issue is that you called
they
Bright
have
a titan.
because they are both lawyers. You understand? Yes. They are credible people in their own individual rights.
Sure.
Okay. And so I believe that amongst them, I mean, I have just seen or assessed and considered that what the party needs presently is a question of unity.
It's an Ivor.
It's an Ivor to unify. Now, an interesting point.
Let's avoid the political correctness. Who has money? You need money to be able to run a presidential campaign. Who has
You
money
don't need
Looks like a
personal money. You don't need money in your pocket. You don't need the money sitting in your bank account. What you need is the rallying point of galvanizing the forces of the people to rally both resources, messages, and the personnel to go and execute a campaign. And I will tell you, Professor Mills won elections in this country. Nobody considered him a rich man in this country. At the time President Kufuor was elected.
No, Professor Mills was in a party that, we can reasonably say has no difficulty raising the funds.
The clearest example
The point
you
I
want
am
to
making,
use is Kwame Nkrumah himself.
of course,
Okay.
I'm moving backward.
came-
I'm moving backward. Osagyefo himself, when he came amongst the leadership of the UGCC, he was the least financially endowed. In fact, the point is even made that they had to pay, and he admits this, for his ticket to come down.
That's right.
When he set out to form the CPP, it is recorded that on his way from Accra to Kumasi, at every stop, stop he made, there were silver collections made of money to give to him for the surgeon.
He had extraordinary, undoubted organizational abilities.
Absolutely.
And the charisma, like
absolutely.
you just said.
Absolutely.
Do you find any of those signs in those who are contesting today?
The sense of belonging. All those characteristics, and multiple of them, and other talents are seen in Ivor. But you see, Samson, you made a point about biases, that the two of you...
Okay, now just hold on briefly for me. I have Dr. Osei Nkrumah on the phone line. Good morning, Dr. Nkrumah, and welcome to Newsfile.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, where are you this morning? Are you at the Congress grounds?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I can hear you very clearly, Dr. Nkrumah. Are you at the Congress grounds?
Wow. Oh, please, spare me that. I cannot hear you really almost hardly at all. So either I have to ask you to raise up your volume, or if I may then put on the radio on so I can hear you in a different way.
Right. You have filed for an injunction against what is going on today, correct?
Yes, correct. So how could I be there, please?
Right. Well, it is going on nonetheless. What do you say?
Well, so I was told.
So what do you say about the development?
It's just unfortunate. You know, the whole thing is just so unfortunate. I would rather not say more than unfortunate.
Have you been a member of the CPP?
I am a member,
You've been a member since when?
Well, I was a member once, some time ago, and I didn't continue in paying, and I rejoined recently, but, for longer than the required minimum, anyhow.
So you hold a CPP membership card?
Yes. A paid-up card.
Of which year?
Well, it's the latest joining is 6 years.
Sorry?
For 6 years now. As I said,
for 6 years.
Is not so great.
Okay.
Would you mind if I put the radio on, or can you just shout a little bit so I can hear you?
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you very clearly.
Okay. Well, anyway, so let us persevere. Go on, please.
Right. So you say you've been a member of the CPP for 6 years now?
Yes. The latest joining, anyway.
Okay. But initially, when had you joined, and then when did you get out?
It wouldn't really matter. It's not a relevant point. I did, and it wasn't. I wasn't keeping it up, so it doesn't count now. So just forget that, please.
Okay. What can you say has been your contribution to the CPP?
Well, the contribution that I wanted to make to the CPP is to pull together, to unite ourselves.
No, not what you want to make, what you have already made.
I have not been allowed to do that. There is nothing significant that I can tell you apart from talking, and talking is cheap. I wanted to do more than that, okay? I wanted us to be able to pull together, embrace each other, work as a team, work as a family, as a unit, and I don't believe in anything dynastic, or because you are a son of this or a daughter of that, you should be something special. I believe we are all equal. I believe CPP belongs to every Ghanaian. I believe CPP has a message to deliver. I believe CPP is patriotic in its inception, and when it was reincarnated, it was intended to live up to the glorious past. But since 1992, there is no real success. Why? You can ask yourself, you can ask others. It's evident. It doesn't need much speculation. You can see since 1992, CPP never got it together.
For each of the candidates, for each of the aspirants who are in the race today, they will be able to point to a local constituency. Which will be yours?
You know which one is my constituency?
Yes.
I can listen, please. Let's not get too personal. I can produce you my card, and I can I can go into all this. If I have 2-3 minutes with you, let us just talk about major issues of public concern. Now, CPP is considered to be a much smaller enterprise concerning few people in the country.
Dr. Osei Nkrumah, you're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. My question is, if you were to say which your local constituency or community of votes will come from, where will it be?
You mean where do I have my membership?
No, he doesn't know constituency.
Where do you mean where do I belong? Please shout a little bit. What was the actual question?
Is there a particular part of this country where you have sort of nursed a certain bond with the members of the CPP who would rally behind you as a starting point to generate or garner the votes you need?
I have several places that are rallying or would have been rallying for me. On the day of the filing, I had about 300 people present around the premises. Part of the problem that day, the skirmishes happened because some of my supporters were physically attacked and verbally abused and so on, okay? And it was very evident that there's hostility there. I mean, far from being comrades and brothers and sisters, there was something completely foreign to the true CPP spirit. The CPP spirit is an all-inclusive family approach where you see every Ghanaian as your fellow brother or fellow sister or a comrade. Okay?
Interesting. Have you ever been on any campaign for the CPP? I mean, political campaign, election campaign?
Well, I've offered my services. The last time I campaigned for anybody was for my young sister, Samia, to become the chairperson. And in hindsight, in genuine belief at the time that she would be the best candidate, there was the comrade Nylander and there was Professor Deli and herself. I sincerely thought if you have a Nkrumah child, you may have a new, not just new blood, but you may have potential to unite the party. And how wrong I was. I mean, within a short period of time, Ndom and his group were
So you were in Jomoro to campaign for Samia.
In other words, but I have not, since she took the reins being the chairperson. She's so unfortunately that day she didn't mind me campaigning for her.
I was asking if you were in Jomoro to campaign for Samia. Is that what you're saying?
No, not Jomoro. I actually campaigned in the last Congress for her to become a chairperson. And in hindsight, I realized it's a mistake. And I apologize for the delegates. And if I get another opportunity, I'll apologize again. Because I genuinely believe that Samia, being a chairperson, although the delegates were bringing concerns that she has little or no knowledge or no experience in Ghana, and I said to them, please give her one term, give her a chance to build and unite the party. But as I said, I discover in hindsight,
don't you think that same complaint, the complaint you talk about that the delegates had about her sort of quote-unquote newness and not knowing so much about the country, you don't think the same could be used against you?
Naturally, yes. Oh, absolutely. And it wouldn't be an unfair comment. You see, well, you have to make up, you know, when you have a student in the class and he's not doing very well, some teachers will say, but at least this student makes up for his lack in this area by putting great effort.
Okay.
So I don't know what is her best effort. Her best effort was not to reunite the party. Her best effort was to rather further her own agenda and a handful of people around her.
Do you have a relationship with some of the executives of the CPP?
Say that, does she have a relationship? Or are you asking me if I have a relationship?
Yes. I mean, do you have friends within the executive?
Yeah, some. I mean, some, not everybody. I mean, Akumfra is her business partner, so obviously he wouldn't talk to me. She brought closer to herself certain individuals that are very close to her, and she sponsored them financially to gain a position, which is very unfortunate that we have corruption even in the method of voting people.
So you are seeking to stop the Congress because you believe you win if you were contesting.
I sincerely believe it. Listen, even if I didn't win, I clear my conscience that I've done the right thing. I came to my own, and my own did not accept me. At least I believe, out of loyalty, out of principle, out of decency, I owe it to go home to my father's home and declare my willingness to serve. I've been asked in different parts of Africa, you help different parts of Africa. Why don't you help your home? CPP is in shambles. Ghana economy is in shambles. You have all this talent, all this energy, and you are advised different heads of state in Africa. What about your country? Your head of state needs a lot of good and sound advice. I'll try to offer him my advice free of charge, my time free of charge. I didn't ask for any posting. I didn't ask for any acknowledgement. I don't even need a thank you from him.
How long have you lived in Ghana?
Well, I came first to Ghana in 1981. But I haven't lived, obviously, constantly. I've been on and off. The longest period I had, maybe in one stint, perhaps was 3 years. But 2015, I was here throughout the year and haven't traveled.
I see.
But, you know, since 81, you can say perhaps, I wouldn't say it's...
What do you do by way of work? What do you do by way of work when you are living in Ghana for about a year?
Oh, last year I haven't done any work in Ghana apart from NGO stuff, and I continue with my charitable activities, and I continue with other African assignments. When I'm called upon for African activities, I'm a patron, and I'm on the board of several NGOs, and I advise, as I said, a number of governments and a number of projects.
All right. You said you wanted a clear sign, at least, that you have been rejected by your own. But are the things you are complaining about in the documents you have presented in the court, are they not sufficient signs that you have been rejected by your own?
I think we have enough signs that have been reported by different media before even. I mean, I was quiet for after the 11th. I'm sure I was quiet for at least perhaps 9 days. I don't know, 10 days before I realized that the chairman is either unable or uninterested to do anything. He couldn't even bring people to book. He couldn't show a word of apology for all the malicious attacks I was receiving at the hands of a number of the executives who are close to Samia. He did not do anything. And when I had a word with him, he said that he was outnumbered. You know, I told him that he is the chairman. He shouldn't feel outnumbered. He should act as the chairman.
Okay.
What hope do we have as a party if a chairman feels outnumbered by certain individuals? You know, it's just.
So are you going to join? Are you going to join another party now from here?
Why should I?
You will not. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about the current situation then?
What do I think of the current situation?
The court case. It does appear that it's been defeated by what is going on today. What are you going to do?
No, I mean, you know, listen. I have to make my stand. Win or lose, people have to know that I disapprove of the corruption. I disapprove of all the malice. All these malicious attacks are so, unreal to us. This is all wrong. All the negatives we should actually stand against.
All right.
These are disgraceful, and they're not part of the true CPP spirit is not like this.
Okay.
The true CPP is inclusive, is loving, is patriotic, is for the good of all. We have to embrace each other and unite our party and unite our country.
Okay.
That's what we aim to do.
Thank you very much. I gather that you may be contesting the next time round in 20 what? You may be contesting again?
You mean with the CPP?
Yes, for CPP flag bearer. Come the next election.
Oh, please. You know, they say 1 week in politics is a long time.
Okay,
Please
thank you.
Ask me,
thank you.
Me neither, whichever week that falls under, you can call me again if I'm still alive. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Hopefully we get a better line then. But I wish you and your listeners and your panel all the best. I don't know who's on your panel. Who's there with you today?
All right, thank you very much. My panel, Kwabena Bomfe is the man from the CPP. Sam George is a presidential staffer, and Egbert Fable is a lawyer and a publisher.
Great stuff. Well, I wish you all the best. And Kabila is a good guy for the CPP. He does his best. I appreciate all his efforts.
Thank you very much, Dr. Osei Nkrumah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes, we're coming to you. Yes.
See, Samson, this is what happens when you allow the point that Egbert makes about the Nkrumah magic to be reduced to offspring or children or bloodline or the name of individuals, where everybody feels that by laying claim to being Nkrumah's son, he or she fits to lead the CPP.
Oh, but what's wrong with that?
What?
After all, he's a member of the party.
Okay,
he says
good.
he's been a member for 6 years.
But I'm saying, but this is what is happening. You see, before I deal with the substance of some of the distortions that Osei has put out here, because I was there at the party headquarters the day he came.
Osei has respect for you. He says you are a great guy.
Yes, he's my friend. I know him. But I will not want to, if you like, be economic with the truth. The party never organized tax against him. It was supporters of Samuel Nkrumah who were, you see, who were tearing down
but you
his
see,
posters. No.
You see,
that's
Samia,
what I'm saying. That
Samia,
it is a
Samia is not here,
She's not
and
here.
her representative is not here.
And I'm not representing
already
anybody
I have
but
gotten
the
to
party.
know. I've gotten to know that you don't favor her ticket.
No.
You don't support her. You don't support her. So correct. Yes. So
you see. Okay, fine. So let's take it out. So there were some people, and some of us intervened. He knows.
You see, for as
What
long as you cannot prove,
they did
I
not,
would wish
there
that you
was
don't
no,
get there.
Samson, no. He's not even correct when he says that there were personal attacks on him. His posters were torn down. They were torn down. And when they were torn down, some of us who were there and felt it was not right and appropriate to do spoke against that. But you see, you cannot be in a party and reduce it into a dynasty. Where somebody's claim to rise, a point of rising in the party would be on the mere grounds that he is somebody's child or somebody's daughter or somebody's son.
That's not what Osei is saying.
Okay.
He says he's got something to offer. You guys are denying him the opportunity.
But for me, the most important thing is this. The CPP is very much okay going to the Congress today. We're served with an application for an injunction which is to be moved on 10th February. You, the lawyers, know better than I do. And I'm happy Egbert, in espousing, explained the two schools of thought on this matter. As far as we are concerned, we are not falling foul of any attempt of an injunction from a court or granted by a court, and for that matter, likely to be contemptuous.
There's expectation for you to act in good faith.
And I will tell you that,
and not to overreach the court.
The party has its own rules and regulations.
Right.
And we indicated that aspirants who had picked nomination forms should return the nomination forms with a filing fee of 150,000, payable in cash or in a bank draft. These were the specific express instructions the party gave. For him to have even come there with a check meant that he fell foul of it. But I will give you internal information that the chairman of the party has given us, because I intervened. He spoke to me, Osei. The chairman and the party leadership were ready, under some circumstance, to accept his payment and his nomination forms if he was able to raise the money and pay in a bank draft or cash Tuesday or Wednesday. And I can tell you on authority, he could not raise the money. I mean, what is this? And then all of a sudden you wait till a day to the Congress, you run to court with an application, bad faith, and you expect that the party...
It's within his right. Who has said it is bad faith?
Oh, I'm saying so. I'm claiming so. I'm alleging so.
Okay.
I expect that of all the expenses and the cost we have brought people from across the regions, the party should let that go waste. No.
Well, that's
the party is beyond.
He will meet you in court.
That's what democracy is like.
Course.
You see,
Democracy is
expensive. Okay, so we take a quick break here, and then we'll return to deal with matters about tariff hikes and how organized labor has succeeded in getting a certain reduction. Is that the reduction that you expected? A reduction that, well, still means that your sachet water price goes up. A bag of sachet water was 3 Ghana cedis or 3.5 Ghana cedis. Now it's 5 Ghana cedis. And your 20 pesos sachet water now, I understand, is going to go up to, is it 30 or so. We'll take a quick break here. We'll return to deal with that and other matters, including the return of the Gitmo 2. I said the return of the Gitmo 2. The transfer of the Gitmo 2 and the return of that discussion, because some senators are asking the Appropriation Committee of the Senate in the United States of America to ensure that if Ghana does not ensure that the two do not get out of this country within the 2 years that they are supposed to be held, then we should be denied aid by up to 20 million, is it, United States dollars. We'll be back right after this.